Hello. It is time to begin. Welcome. Oh, I should turn down my other computer. I was listening to the sound as it was playing out of the Twitch stream on my other computer just to make sure the sound was working. It's going to get weird if I'm hearing myself a second or two later. Hello. This is Applied Digital Studies, Section 2. And I completed Section 1 already, but this is Section 2. About 15 people enrolled in this section last I checked. So hopefully that's who's watching right now. Let me fade down the background music. That music we were listening to was by Chip Zell. She's a chiptunes artist, and I believe she's based in Ireland. I'm not sure, but I enjoy her music a lot. First discovered it as the audio for a game called Super Hexagon that I like, so I've recently found that she puts a lot of her music on this service that I'm using, which is called Pretzel, or Pretzel Rocks, I guess. And Pretzel Rocks is a music streaming service, kind of like Spotify, but all of the music there is licensed so that you're allowed to play it on Twitch streams without copyright claims being made on it. So that's what I was doing. So hello, it looks like I've got 4 viewers according to the Twitch dashboard, although that's not always up to date. If you are viewing, I should probably just send a message here in Discord. Live on Twitch with a stream for Section 2. I'm just typing this in here. There you go. It says 13 on your screen. Oh, 13 viewers been? Okay. Maybe, well, good. I mean, yeah, my stream dashboard thing is always, it's a little bit behind, so that's good. I mean, 13 is closer to the right number. Good to see you, by the way, Ben. I know you're one of the people I know. Looking at the class, I know like 3 or 4 people in this section, but not everyone, so that's it's good to see some familiar names. Oh yeah, mine now says 14, so cool. Anyway, if you don't mind, say hi in the chat, either in Discord chat or on Twitch, whichever you prefer. That kind of lets me know who's watching and who's out there. Yeah, and good to see you again, Ryan, or you should say long time no see, Ryan. Ryan was in my winter class that I just wrapped up, or am still technically wrapping up because I still have to finish grading tonight. So that's kind of what's going on with that. I did teach a J-term class, and it was very much a lot of work, but I think it went well. So, I'm not saying I'm ready to do it again, but at least not anytime soon, but it was, it was interesting. Yeah, and I think the students had a good time with it. I hope they did. But yeah, hi, LG Perez, Lillian, I believe, and Jean. Good to see you too. Those are 2 names I know. So good to see you all watching the stream. Yeah, good. Glad to hear it, Ryan. So as you know, hopefully you've been able to find your way around Discord. If you're watching this, you can certainly leave comments and discuss things while I'm streaming. I'm going to keep an eye on the live stream chat channel, and that channel is going to appear above me while I'm talking. So just bear that in mind. Anything you post there will appear here, and it will probably show your name. I say probably because there's some kind of bug with this widget where sometimes it just shows up as object instead of someone's actual name. And let me see something. Hold on a second. I need to go ask somebody something. Some kind of argument happening. I'm back. So I close the door. Yeah, I was saying about Discord. You're welcome to chat there, or if it's easier for you to chat on Twitch, you can do that too, although I don't always see that as quickly because it's like a different computer and sometimes the computer goes to sleep and then I don't see people chatting there. But I have heard from some people that if they're watching the stream on their phone, then it's hard for them to switch between Discord and Twitch to leave a comment if they have anything. So that might be a reason you want to use Twitch, and you're welcome to do that if you'd like to. Either one's fine. The main thing though is like I'm streaming today because I'm mostly the one talking, and I have some things to tell you about this class, and that's why I'm doing this stream. It's not really a conversational kind of day, but if you do have questions or comments about what I'm talking about, you're certainly welcome to add those to either of those chat spaces, and I will see them and respond to them. And yeah, go from there. What's that? Something on my face there. Well, I hope you all are doing well. Hope you all are getting started with the semester. This is, I'm teaching, it's 2 classes, but it's what we call 2 preps. So I actually have 4 sections of class total. So this is my 4th live stream today, and I had an hour long or hour plus meeting between streams number 2 and 3. So I've been standing in front of this computer talking for going on 4 hours now. And another 50 minutes to go or so. We'll go, this class goes from, the section goes from 250 to 340. So I think, so that's my plan. We may not go all the way to 340, we'll see. But that's basically the time span that this is supposed to occupy. All right, so today's objectives are, I have a slideshow, but it's mainly just to kind of remind me of what I wanted to talk about here, not really a lecture. But today is about introductions, and I want to start off, I thought I had another slide there, but I don't. I want to start off just introducing myself, but also introducing the class, helping you understand what you're getting into and what kinds of things you'll be doing this semester with this class. Because this is a class that has kind of a vague title. Applied Digital Studies as a term may not mean that much to you, so you're probably here because you have to be here because it's a requirement for the CDS major. Or you could be here because it's an elective for the Digital Studies minor, or just because you're interested. But anyways, it is a sequel to Digital Studies 101. And so I want to talk about kind of what that means in terms of what kind of work you're going to do and kind of set you up for some things. If you have questions, some of the things are available in Canvas, but it's really just the syllabus. There's a few other things that you might be able to access currently in Canvas, but I tried to turn almost everything off because it's just not ready yet, to be honest. I thought about like leaving it up there and like just sort of saying you kind of look at it now, but kind of don't pay attention to the dates, because that's the main thing, because I have to update a whole bunch of the dates. And I decided rather than give it to you but tell you not to look at it that closely, I'll just wait until it's fully ready for me to give it to you. So just bear with me on that. That's still coming together. Like I said, J-term teaching really has occupied my life for a little while, so I'm just now kind of getting things up to speed for this class. But here I am. Here we are. So who am I? I am Dr. Zach Whalen. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Communication and Digital Studies at the University of Mary Washington. And that's the 4th time I've said that today. That's why I was kind of smiling at myself there for saying that way. So as you may know, we used to be the English Linguistics and Communication Department, but now we are 2 separate departments, English Linguistics and Communication and Digital Studies. And I'm actually sort of in both. I'm technically homed in the homed. And my main department is CDS, but I also teach half of my classes are English classes. Those classes that I teach that are English classes are also digital studies flavored English classes, like games and culture, or like my other class that I'm teaching this term, which is electronic literature. So that's kind of my academic identity, I guess, at UMW. I also might want to know I direct the minor in digital studies, and I'm sort of helping run things with the digital intensive requirement right now, although that's not an official title. So maybe you're doing digital studies courses to complete the digital intensive requirement. That's fine too. Although I don't think this class counts. Maybe it does. I was going back and forth about whether this class should count or not. And my argument against it was that since DGST 101 is a DI class and it's a prerequisite for this one, maybe it would be redundant to have this one also be DI. But then it occurred to me maybe there would be a handful of people that took DI before took Digital Studies 101 before it was DI, and they would benefit from it. But I think most of those students are already taking a bunch of DI classes anyway, so I don't know. I think I ended up not making this DI, but I don't remember for sure. Anyway, what else I was going to say? Oh yeah, so I've been here over 10 years. I forget how many years I've been here, but it's more than 10. It's like 11 or 12. I can't remember. I guess it's around 12 because my oldest daughter is 12 and she was born my first semester here. Or would that make it 11 because she just turned 12? I don't know. I don't know how to do math. Sorry. Yeah, my next door neighbor has like an axe throwing thing set up in his yard, and he's out practicing his axe throwing right now. It's kind of loud. Anyway, what was I going to say? So my PhD work, my graduate work, was in at the University of Florida and in their English department. So I do come from an English background, but the degree I got and the dissertation that I worked on and that the graduate work was focused on video game studies. So that sort of informed my background, but then it's really part of what we started. Back then we were calling new media studies and more recently have been calling digital studies. So that's kind of how I became sort of the digital studies person here at UMW. So I'm happy to be here teaching applied digital studies. This is a class I created a few years ago. It's a class that has evolved a lot, and so in some cases it's had some growing pains, I think. So it's still a class with a lot of flexibility built into it, basically. And you'll see what I mean as I talk about some of the assignments and other work that we're going to be doing this semester. So who are you? Normally this is the part of the class where I would call roll and ask you to introduce yourself and so on. Not really set up to do that today, so if you haven't already, please make sure you're in the Discord server, and once you're in the Discord server, make sure you introduce yourself in the introductions channel of the Discord server. Pretty straightforward there, nothing formal, just to say hi. That's really all I ask for. Just a couple of notes about Discord if you've never used it. You can change your nickname, so you might already have a nickname that you use in other servers. You can change it for this server if you want to. I've set up mine just to be my first and last name. You can do that if you want. You don't have to. If you would rather go by a screen name or a pseudonym, totally fine. I want you to know you have a choice. I also chose to write my nickname with parentheses with my gender pronouns. I recommend you do that too, but again, just whatever you want to do is fine. This Discord server is just meant for the class, so I believe I've set it up so you can't create more invites, and so in other words, only I can invite people to it. So please don't invite other people to it. It is a shared space for our class, but it's a shared private space for our class. So that's why the only parts of it that are public are the live stream chat channel, which you can see above me. So if you would rather not have your comments appear there live on the stream, you can send me, and you do have a question during a stream, you can send me a DM and I'll see those. Or you can also @ me in another channel. If you've never used Discord before, it is pretty easy to figure out. I think you kind of can sort of watch other people use it and then try to do what they're doing. Like you can @ somebody, type the @ character, and then it'll try to autocomplete with their username if you want to respond to someone specifically. You can use emoji to respond to other people. I think I've set this up so you can use emoji from other servers, although I forgot to check that. So try it out, see if that works. You can add GIFs. There's a few other integrations that I'm going to add as the integrations and bots that I'm going to add as I have time to, just to kind of enhance that space a little bit. But feel free to use it. It's meant mostly there will be some structured stuff in there, but a majority of what you're going to see and experience in Discord will be just informal kind of chatting. So please do that. Since this is a class that is technically, it's hybrid, so it's technically online like most of the time, or many of you will be experiencing it fully online. I think of Discord as kind of the classroom. Like it's the place where you can get to know each other a little bit and feel some investment in each other's projects and work, and also be an audience for each other's work and really kind of grow those projects with each other as a sense of community. And you'll be helping each other and supporting each other and critiquing each other throughout the semester. So Discord is a place where that all can really happen. Forming a sense of community is one of the biggest challenges in an online class, but a platform like Discord can really help us do that. So that's my intention anyway. I hope it works out, but feel free to try different things in Discord, see what's going on. They've added a thing now where you can do a threaded reply, which is kind of interesting. Slack added that like a year or two ago now, and I like it, but it's kind of complicated. And Discord is also, I'm not sure if it really works, but it's a way to respond to somebody. Like if there's a really active discussion and you want to reply to something way back, back up, you can now reply to a specific message in Discord. I'm not sure when they introduced that, but I just noticed it recently. Okay, so Lindsay just noted in here that the lag is terrible. Do you mean the lag between my audio, like when I'm speaking and what you see, or is it just like is the frame rate going down? I see you just posted that a few minutes ago. So I'll just type a message here just to make sure. In fact, I'll use that reply method. So a couple things you can do. I don't know. I mean, Twitch kind of does these things automatically. It should it should adjust the frame rate lower. I'm broadcasting it at 720, which is kind of medium in terms of like data, but it says the bitrate is good on my dashboard. Is everyone else okay? Like, are you able to hear me okay and see me okay? That's the main thing. I want to make sure that you know, can hear and see me. See a few people typing. Okay, so E. Curtin says everything's good, and Ben says things are good. So, okay, good. Yeah. Hopefully, Lindsay. Lindsay, what if in fact it's just your connection? There might be. So it could be, of course, it could be the internet situation. Is your internet speed okay? I guess that's all I can think of. Maybe try reconnecting. Some people have reported that they have success whenever they refresh Twitch. So I don't know if that's going to help in your situation, but that's something that does, I've heard, helps. I mean, if nothing else, this will be archived. I mean, it's being recorded right now, and it'll be up on YouTube, and you can play it back at your convenience when latency shouldn't really matter in that situation. But yeah, we'll see if we can troubleshoot this a little bit here. Well, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Lindsay. If that's not helping. Hold on a second. Let me just check one thing. Okay, so it always does this, and I don't know actually. So there's a setting on my stream dashboard where it's a low latency setting, and what I don't know is if that's actually changing the stream that it sends out, or if it's just changing my preview of the stream. But I just turned latency off, I turned low latency off on my dashboard, so it may improve. Let me know if it does, because that would give me good information about what this button actually does. But I don't have any other settings I can adjust. It's streaming at, like I said, 720p, which should be okay. And it looks like the bit rate that I'm sending out is pretty good. Yes, it's 3,000 kilobits a second, which is pretty good. So it may be on your end, or it may be on the way Twitch is delivering it. Yeah, sorry, I can't really troubleshoot it much beyond that. But hopefully you can watch it after the fact, and then if not, if it's still weird, or if you have internet connection issues, we can maybe talk through some other options. Okay, so I'm going to move on with the class introduction, if that's all right. I was just encouraging you all to use Discord, basically. So what is this class about? This class is about digital studies, and if you have taken Digital Studies 101, some of you took it from me, some of you took it from someone else, so probably Dr. Blevins or Dr. Stommel. And so I can tell you a few things about this current class in relation to what you did in 101, even though you probably did something slightly different if you have a different professor. But the basic premise, I think, is probably the same, which is you look at digital studies in a sense that, at least the way I explain it, is that it encompasses three different areas, or three different, I don't even say fields, these are like meta fields, but we're looking at things like digital creativity, so that might mean making things with digital tools and programming. We're looking at things like digital culture, which is the world today and how things are organized and how we deal with and understand each other through digital stuff. And then finally, digital methodologies, which includes using computers, programming to investigate situations, explore questions and problems, and try to solve them using computers. These are all the three areas that I at least try to cover in 101, and I try to cover those by giving my students access to different concepts and topics through the projects that I create or that I design, but then a lot of that exploration happens in the modules where students find something that they're pretty interested in, and they spend a couple weeks working on that. And so at the end of 101, you've had a look into lots of different areas, usually like a week or two looking into a specific aspect of digital creativity, culture, or methodology. So it's kind of like, at least I think of it as kind of like a wide surface kind of class. Like we cover a lot of territory, but kind of in a shallow way. This class, Applied Digital Studies, we'll hit a lot of things, creativity, culture, and methodology, but ultimately the defining structure, the feature of this class is what I call the big project, and that's where you're going to design a project that takes a deep dive and into a specific area for several weeks. And that's something that we will spend a fair amount of time talking about and preparing you for, but that really is the defining characteristic of this class. There are other things, there will be projects that I create for you as well, but they're really all about kind of building up to that big project, which is your thing. All this is also summed up in or encompassed by a sense of digital identity. So one of the things I want to find out is, I know students that took my 101, by the end of that class, they all have a domain and hopefully know how to use it. And so that's something that I want to make sure or kind of check everyone's access. I want to see how you are doing in terms of a domain, whether you have one or not. And if you have one, do you know how to use it? Because ultimately, when you think about your big project, and we talk about things like finding an audience for it, finding the right platforms for it, thinking about who's going to access it and how, really the best way to think through those questions is through how it exists on your domain, and thinking through your domain as the place to host that usually makes the most sense. So I want to make sure that you all have a sense of your website and how to use it for the big project, but also a couple other projects that we'll be doing. So I'm going to send out a survey tonight, hopefully. It's going to be a long night, but I'm hopefully going to send out a survey eventually tonight where I'm going to ask you a few things and kind of see where everyone is in terms of things like that. Like, where's your website? Do you have a website? If not, do you know how to get one? Do you want help getting it? And I want to make sure everybody is at least at a similar starting point in terms of their website. For other parts of this class, there will be kind of differentiated projects or other things based on different skill levels or interests or experience levels. So if you're concerned about like programming and being asked to work with code and you're kind of anxious about that, I know some people have that kind of anxiety, it's okay. Like, this is not a class built around the assumption that you all are going to be master programmers. I do want you to work with code and understand it, but I want you to start from where you are and then build on that. I'm not going to set an arbitrary threshold that says everyone needs to be up to this level before they graduate from this class. Instead, I want you to say, here's where I am, here's where I'd like to be, and then I'll help you figure out how to get there. And that's what this class is really ultimately about. Really, in a lot of ways, this class, by the end of it, is pretty much an independent study. And so it's something that I will kind of help you work toward and build for the first half of the semester, and then the second half is pretty much dominated by your big project and working on it. And that's something that you're going to define and create and evaluate and all kinds of things. It's the whole thing. So let's see. So DIY learning, that's a term that I like to use, or actually similar, different terms, but this class does involve a lot of self-directed learning. Of course, I will give you things, I will show you things, but ultimately whether you learn those things or whether you like take ownership of the education that you have an opportunity to receive here, it's up to you, and that's something that I really emphasize a lot in this class. It's not that I expect you to teach everything to yourself, but like, I will show it to you, I will set it in front of you, but it's up to you to pick it up and learn it. And so that's something that I want to make sure that you take ownership of, because that's when it really matters and that's when it really benefits. Like, that's when you really learn it. It's not what I do, it's what you do. Like, you are an active learner here, and it's not, I mean, of course it is up to me in some sense to design the opportunities for you to accomplish that learning, but it's up to you as the student to actualize that, I guess, or to make it actually happen. Sorry, I'm keeping an eye on my bird feeders. There's a couple of cardinals. I think it's the same pair, and they've been hanging out all day on that bird feeder, but not this one. This bird feeder is the one I have a webcam hooked up to, but it almost no one ever visits it, so I don't even have it. Like, I can turn it on OBS, but there's nothing there. It's just an empty bird feeder right now. But there's that one. They're all over that one. Oh, there's actually there's 4 cardinals out. There's 2 couples, like 2 male-female pairs. Huh. I wonder if they're like friends or like on a double date or something. They seem like pretty chill with each other. Sometimes cardinals can be sort of aggressive with each other, but they all seem pretty much like they're getting along. Nice. Okay, anyway, sorry, I get distracted by birds. There's a lot of birds to look at out my windows. Okay, so this is one of the structuring features of this class, and in terms of especially the first half of the class, I'm going to give you content in a type of structural unit that I call a module or a node. I used to call these nodes because it was really about collecting a series of different things around a central idea and then like finding different connections out to other ideas, and so I think a node is a better metaphor for that. But Canvas uses the language of module, and that's kind of convenient as an organizing tool, so the terms are equivalent. It doesn't really matter. For each of those, there's a central topic, and then within that topic, there are some things that use or investigate creative approaches to understanding that topic. Things like maybe a short story or a video game or a TV episode. There are things that deal with like the cultural context of that topic. So these might be essays or documentaries or things that are kind of intellectual about that thing. And then methodology, this is going to be opportunities to try to explore that topic using programming. And so it's going to be a little bit of kind of programming tutorials built around trying to understand an application of programming in that specific area. That's how I've designed these. I've got 4 of them. I could do more, or I could change some of these out. So let me explain what I've got already and then see if you have any suggestions for what else to add. This is something else I'm going to send out in the survey there. But when I last taught this class, yeah, it was in the fall, I guess, right? That seems like so long ago. The 4 topics that I focused on had to do with algorithms, specifically things like algorithmic oppression, so algorithmic bias, that kind of thing. Artificial intelligence was another module that we had some fun with, I think. So it's looking at how do we understand AI. Certainly there's lots of works in fiction and film that deal with AI, but then like I also want to understand like what actually is AI, what do we actually do with it, and then how do we actually program AI to do things for creative reasons. That was my focus on that anyway. There's another module focused on networks or connections. That module I feel like has some room to grow. I think it's not fully fleshed out. I think I'd like to think some more about that, and I certainly can. Then the 4th one was interactive design, kind of thinking about how to put your content out there in terms of the web and thinking about web design as a skill set and trying to help students develop that idea. That one also I think it's very practically oriented, so it's got a lot of value, but I think it also, we could have spent a lot more time with that than we ended up actually spending with that last term. Do you have any other requests? Are there any other topics that you think should be in this class, or that you expected to be here, or that you were really interested in from 101 and you'd like to see more? You can certainly, if you have any thoughts, you can leave them in the chat right now, or just like I said, I'll send these. I'll give you a space to add these on the survey that I send out later. But any other topics? So like in the previous section, some people asked about video game design and digital animation. And those are great topics. I think those though might be more appropriate to explore in your big project than in a module that everyone spends time with, because I don't know if everyone wants to do that. It's also pretty skill focused. So I'd really like to see you developing the skill focused work on your own in the context of your own project. So that might be what some of those students choose to do, or I might find a way to add that into some of these other modules. Because I'm really looking for like that topic as opposed to the skill. Some people suggested things around cybersecurity, privacy, digital privacy. Those are good practical things to add. So I may certainly do that. But yeah, if you can't think of anything right now, that's fine. But just feel free to chime in with any suggestions you may have as they occur to you. Okay, so here is the schedule. This is my plan for the week. Today, obviously, I'm live streaming. On Wednesday, I would like to have a Zoom conversation with you all. This is an opportunity for me to see what you look like and hear what you sound like. For some of you, I will probably only see you online, so it's a good way for me to start putting names with faces for those of you I don't already know. But also, it's a chance for you to ask questions and talk in a more natural way than leaving a message on Discord right now. So that's my plan. I'll set that up through Canvas and schedule it through Canvas, so that should generate a link that will send you the invitation and the password. I assume you know how Zoom works by now. If not, if you have questions, let me know. I don't plan to use Zoom very often in this class. This might be the only one, honestly. But I think it's a good way to say hello and just chat for now. I mean, for this, as we are getting things kicked off for this semester. And then I'll be back live streaming on Friday. I'll probably have some homework for you to do or something to work on to get ready for Friday. So there'll be some kind of lecture possibly following up on that. But just plan on that being a live stream instead of a Zoom. And then going forward, we will have to do some work to figure out what is going to happen going forward. As you know, this week is all virtual for all classes. Starting next week, there are some classes that will be face-to-face, some that will remain fully virtual, and some like this one that are hybrid. And so we need to figure out what we mean by hybrid. And that's partly, we'll talk about that on Wednesday, but also I'm going to get some feedback from you in that survey, hopefully. I want to find out how many of you actually plan to attend class in person if that's possible. If it's not a lot of you, then it might make sense just to keep everything fully virtual for this class, and that's okay with me, I guess. I know some of you probably will want the in-person though, so I want to see how many of you there are and see if we can get you all together on the same day. If that works, then that might be how we do that. We might do one day in person with that group, and then the rest of the class will be doing something similar on their own online while I'm there with the in-person group. Or I might do a lecture from the classroom, like a live stream from the classroom. That's kind of awkward, but I can do that, I suppose. The other thing, sorry, there's a bird I'm keeping an eye out for. There's a downy woodpecker, and I think there's a couple, like a nesting pair, and I thought I saw it just now, but I think that was something else. Anyway, sorry. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so the modality. If it turns out that like all of you want to meet in person, then we won't all be able to meet in person probably. It depends, right? But because there's 15 people in this section right now, and the classroom which we are scheduled to meet in, which is 327, HCC 327, the capacity is 12. So that won't work, but I think that's a pretty good chance that most of the people that want to be in person can be in person together. So we'll need to figure that out, and I need to get more information from you before I can really decide where the balance is in terms of how many people need to go either way. Also, I should mention there are 2 sections of this class, so it might be, if you have the flexibility to participate in a live stream at that hour instead of this hour, or in person at that hour instead of this hour, we might be able to do things like that to make the numbers line up the right way. But these are things that I need more information from you before I can really even start like gaming out and trying to imagine in terms of different scenarios. So like I said, I'll make a survey, I'll send it out later, and then that will give me that information. So do you have any questions about the class? I can show you the syllabus, but are you doing okay? Are things making sense? Anything you're still interested in knowing that I haven't covered yet? Okay, that's fine. You don't have to have anything to say either. Okay, I'm going to go through the syllabus, and that'll probably wrap us up here. I know we go to 3:40, but I'm kind of running out of things to say. And I'm very tired. So let's kind of go through some things here in the syllabus. Like I said earlier, the Canvas course is open and it is working, but there's really very little actually published in it. So don't worry too much. You'll probably find some dead links in the syllabus. In fact, Canvas has a thing now where it emails me whenever someone clicks on a dead link. So I've gotten a couple of those emails, so sorry about that. But it's all still forthcoming, or it's there but not published because I need to correct some things about it. There's actually a couple of things in the syllabus that I need to correct too, but I wanted you to get the basics of it. All right, so logistically, the class has 2 sections, as I've talked about, 140 and 250. You all are in the 250 section, or that's the section you're watching right now. I'm the professor, and here's how you can get in touch with me. My office is Combs 308, but we're not doing in-person office hours at all, so it doesn't matter. But that's where I am physically when I'm on campus, usually. There's my website, there's my email. If you do want, I should actually add this link here. If you do want to make an appointment with me, I have a website. Oh, I have that. That's awkward. The comma there became part of the link. So zachwayland.net is my website, which is super out of date. But the contact, spring 2018, really? Man, okay. The time flies, right? If you go to my contact page, that should be relatively up to date in the sense that this has my current contact information. Lots of ways you can contact with me. Discord is a great way to do it. Just send me a DM there. I'm on Twitter. You can follow me there if you want. I'm on YouTube. I post the videos of these live streams on YouTube later, so you can see those there on my channel. I do have a phone number, and if you want to call me on this is my office number, but it forwards to my mobile phone, and this is a number you can send me a text with. At least I think you can. So that's not my actual mobile number. That's supposed to be a Google Voice number that will forward text messages to my actual phone. But I don't think, as far as I know, no one's ever used that. So maybe they have and it just didn't work. I don't know. Anyway, try it sometime and see if it works. There's a contact form, but really an email is probably better. This just sends me an email anyway. And then I've got the booking form here, so this way you can actually schedule a time to have a conversation. I think I need to update the hours for that, but I will do that shortly. But that's a way that you can schedule a video conference or a text conference or a voice conference. So if you want to talk about something from the class or advising or anything else that you think I can help you with, I'd certainly be happy to try to help whatever's going on. What else? Let's see. Just want to make sure. Yeah, okay. Just making sure I'm showing you the right window. Don't do that. There we go. Taking a look at the syllabus again. Yeah, so these quotes here at the top, these are just kind of inspirational quotes that summarize the basic teaching philosophy here, which, like I said, it's that self-directed learning, and so it's really up to you to learn a lot of these things, which doesn't mean that you are making up the class on your own. It just means that I'm going to give you things that I'm not going to show you every step of the way. I'm going to need you to figure out some of the steps and figure out kind of piece by piece how to get to the outcome that you want to get. And sometimes I can help you with those things. Sometimes I honestly can't. Sometimes you'll come up with an idea that sounds great to me, but I don't know how to do it. So you'll have to figure out how to do it. I'll help if I can, but I may not always be able to help. But anyway, the point is, and this is a quote I like, the idea that self-education is the only possible education. It's another way of saying what I was pointing out earlier, which is, I lay things out in front of you and I lay out a ton of stuff, and some of it may make no sense to you or have no value to you, but some of it will, and that part of it that you find valuable, that you pick up and take on, make your own, that's learning, that's education. Like, that's when it actually happens. The stuff I lay out in front of you, that's not education, that's just course design or something. Education, learning is that thing when you pick it up and do it yourself. And so that's what I'm hoping to do for this class. I'm going to create those opportunities for you, but it's going to be up to you to actually pick it up and run with it. So in terms of learning outcomes, this is another kind of way to think about this. Again, these are the things I'm laying out for you that I hope you'll pick up and run with. But these are the things that guide the parts of the class that I'm designing, like the modules. So I'm thinking in terms of contemporary digital culture. That means analyzing, critiquing, and responding to it, like understanding what's going on in the world with regard to digital culture. And we live in interesting times in relation to digital culture. I think the landscape of social media has undergone a pretty interesting seismic shift over the last couple weeks, or 3 weeks, or month. I don't know what time it is. I don't know how time works anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. I imagine that a major social media network, social platform, Parler, has disappeared, and yet it's somehow sort of reappeared, but it seems like it's all being hosted in Russia now. So what does that mean? Like, these are the kinds of questions that I think have to do with digital culture and are big parts of digital culture that I hope you have a way to respond to and talk about after you've left the class. And actually, that is a pretty interesting discussion. Like, what does it mean to deplatform a platform? Like, to basically, how do we feel about companies like Amazon? So ultimately, it was Amazon deciding that Parler doesn't need to exist anymore. And the fact that they have that much power, that Amazon has that much power, even when they choose to use that power for good, is still kind of scary that they have that much power. So I think that's an interesting thing, and we hopefully will talk about that kind of thing in this class. I do also hope that you work with and get some experience with computer programming. I'm not asking you to be an expert programmer by the end of this class, but I hope that you will have an increased comfort level or confidence level with programming. I do want you programming. I will show you programming, specifically Python, maybe a little JavaScript, but mostly Python, because I think Python is a good first language if you've never programmed before. So that's the kind of thing that I hope you'll have some experience with by the time you leave this class. I mentioned the big project, and really, it's a digital project, but really the work and the skill that you develop in completing the big projects is really the planning and planning a project, designing it, describing it ahead of time, mapping out all the resources you'll need and how you're going to make sure to put those in place in time, and like all that stuff. That management part of it is really an important skill that you can take away from this class and apply in all kinds of different aspects of your life going forward. All kinds of jobs, right? I mean, this idea of being able to do something complicated is a big skill to have and to be able to talk about. But also, hopefully, you'll make something meaningful. Like, you'll actually have a big project that you're proud of and that actually has an impact. And that's something that we'll try to work toward. So this is where I was talking about your digital identity and your domain earlier. This idea that this is the idea that I want you to make this meaningful beyond the university, address a public audience, and your domain is really the best way to think about doing that. So that's what that learning outcome has to do with. Okay, so I'm not going to stand here and read the whole syllabus to you. Hopefully you know where to find this, and I do want you to read this, so please read this by Wednesday so that if you have any questions about it, you can ask them on our Zoom conference. I do want to mention a couple of things here, and a couple of things I probably will need to tweak, and if I do, I will, of course, let you know before Wednesday. Like, I think my COVID-19 statement probably needs to be updated slightly. I mean, it's just boilerplate, but I know that the boilerplate released by the university had some adjustments to it for this coming year. Not many. It's still the basic MMDC, right? I mean, we still do that thing. And if we are meeting face-to-face, clean your area when you arrive and when you leave and that kind of thing. Like, that's all pretty familiar by now. Couple things that are a little bit different, like recording policy. Like I said, this particular session, the live streams like this are public and they are recorded automatically. You're welcome to record them on your own if you feel like it, or edit these or do whatever with them. But anything that's internal, like a Zoom conference or a Discord conversation, that should be kept private. Pretty straightforward there, I hope. I think I need to update a couple of these names, but that's the Title IX statement. But if you do experience harassment in the class, make sure you reach out. Of course, let me know, but also understand, as it notes here, that I am what's called a what is the term? A mandatory reporter or something. I forget the term, but if there's something you tell me about, I'm legally obligated to tell somebody else about it. Like, I can't legally keep things private. If it's something that has to do with a crime being committed, that's something that I have to disclose to someone else. I think it's mandatory reporter is the term for that. Anyway, but that's what I am. That's what most faculty are. Other things, yeah, you can definitely use technology in the class. You're using it right now to access the stream. Whenever you come to class in person, bring a laptop. If you don't have a laptop, then let me know and we can make some arrangements for you to borrow one or use one of the computers in the room. But let me know ahead of time so we can make sure that that's ready for you. Yeah, this is a standard kind of content warning. I'm not planning to show you things on purpose that are offensive or disturbing. I will, if there is anything that occurs to me that might be troublesome in any of those areas, I will try to give you a heads up before I do. I say try. I sometimes forget, or sometimes I don't realize that something is in there, and also ultimately I don't know what things people are going to be upset by. So I'm not going to promise that things will be perfectly. I don't know what the opposite is of disturbing, but I think that I'm not seeking that out. Like, I'm not trying to make things disturbing. There are a couple of things I can think of that could be, but I will tell you about those. Yeah, that's all I can think of to say for now. Do you have any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon because my voice is tired. My throat is tired. I'm tired of talking. But I want to see how you all are doing, see if you all are you good? Everybody, I haven't seen any chatting for a little while, so are you all still out there? Typing here. You're still here. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Ryan, Jean, Lillian. All right, thanks, Ben. Yeah, I don't know if you're referring to Portal. I assume you were referring to the Portal song, Ben, but I was playing Portal just recently with my class. Excellent game. All right, so I will be wrapping it up soon then so I can drink some tea. Oh, and I see Mary on Twitch, so thanks, Mary. Good to see you out there. Okay, so any questions, concerns, anything? Of course, you know how to reach out to me. Mainly, your homework is to make sure to introduce, right, so Ryan, yeah, good question. Your homework is to introduce yourself in Discord if you haven't already. The only outstanding thing is that the survey, which you don't have yet. So when I send that, then please do it. I will send it through Canvas through an announcement there. So check that out. I might actually do it as a Canvas quiz because that's a little bit easier for me to kind of manage and keep track of who's responded and who hasn't. So I might do it that way, but it would be an ungraded quiz, of course. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, introduce yourself in Discord and just kind of, be ready to talk about things over Zoom on Wednesday. Okay, cool. So it looks like we're good. I'll still stay online for a minute in case people do have questions. Maybe I'll turn the music back on so I have kind of an outro. Where is that? The way I've got my stream set up, I actually can't hear the music because I don't have any speakers plugged into the computer right now. But yeah, I've been using Pretzel Rocks, and they put together these nice streaming playlists and radio stations. So I'll put on some Chip Zell here. Yeah, that was probably really loud. Okay, so let's see, was that somebody was typing? But okay. All right, well, thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you all in Zoom on Wednesday, and keep an eye out for that link. Let me know if you have any questions or anything in the meantime. All right, see you later.